Greed has a way of blinding people to the truth. They thought she was just a quiet girl they could bully, but they forgot that quiet people are the best observers. This is a story about how one woman's silent strength brought down a corrupt empire from the inside. I was sitting on a park bench in Central Park when an older woman named Claire sat next to me. She was feeding the birds, looking incredibly peaceful. I commented on how serene she seemed, and she smiled, telling me she had just come from a courtroom where she finally put an end to the family war her uncle started 3 years ago. Intrigued, I asked her to tell me more, and she began her incredible story. It all started when both her parents fell seriously ill and had to be hospitalized. Her uncle, a man they had always trusted, suddenly became the most caring relative imaginable. He was always by their side, bringing them meals, handling their affairs. Or so it seemed. Claire had always been a quiet person, often overlooked in her loud, boisterous family. Her uncle saw her as a pushover, someone who wouldn't make a fuss. While her parents were weak and heavily medicated, he saw his chance. Under the guise of managing their medical paperwork, he had them unknowingly sign over the deed to their house. He convinced them it was just a formality for their insurance. Claire's world shattered a few weeks later. While her parents were still fighting for their lives in the hospital, a notice appeared on their front door. An eviction notice. Her own uncle was throwing her out of her childhood home, the home her parents had poured their life savings into. He told her it was a business decision and that she was old enough to fend for herself. He moved his own family in, callously redecorating and erasing every memory her family had built. Claire was devastated, but as she stood on the sidewalk with her belongings, a cold resolve settled in. He had underestimated her. Her quiet nature wasn't weakness. It was her greatest weapon. She knew a direct confrontation would be useless. He was a powerful businessman with lawyers and connections. So she decided to play the long game. She knew her uncle's business was his pride and joy, but also his biggest vulnerability. He was known for cutting corners. Claire completely changed her appearance, created a new resume, and applied for an entry-level assistant position at his firm under a different name. It was a huge risk, but her desperation fueled her courage. For 2 agonizing years, she became the perfect employee. She was diligent, efficient, and most importantly, invisible. She worked late, organized files, and made coffee, all while keeping her eyes and ears wide open. Her uncle barely acknowledged her, seeing only the quiet, unremarkable assistant he had hired, but from that vantage point, Claire saw everything. She started finding inconsistencies in the accounts, backdated documents, and evidence of massive tax fraud. He was laundering money through shell companies and forging signatures on more than just her parents' deed. She carefully copied every incriminating document, every email, every ledger, slowly building an undeniable mountain of evidence against him. The day of reckoning came when Claire discovered her uncle was finalizing the sale of her parents' house. He was about to profit from his cruelty once and for all. That was the moment she knew she had to act. She didn't just go to the police. She orchestrated a legal ambush. On the very day of the property closing, as her uncle sat in the conference room, ready to sign the final papers, Claire walked in. Not as the quiet assistant, but as herself, flanked by her lawyer and 2 detectives. The look of shock on her uncle's face, she said, was something she would never forget. He tried to dismiss her, to call security, but it was too late. Her lawyer presented the rock-solid evidence of the forged deed. Then the detectives presented the binders full of evidence detailing years of tax fraud and illegal dealings she had meticulously gathered. His empire crumbled in a matter of minutes. The sale was stopped immediately. Her uncle was arrested right there in the conference room. The legal battle that followed was short. Faced with irrefutable proof, he had no defense. He was sentenced to significant prison time, and all his illegally obtained assets were seized. The court nullified the forged deed, and ownership of the house was restored to her parents. Claire told me the most beautiful moment was bringing her parents, now recovered, back to their home. Seeing the joy and relief on their faces was the ultimate victory. They had no idea the lengths their quiet girl had gone to for them. As Claire finished her story, she threw the last of her breadcrumbs to the birds. She looked at me and said, "They thought my silence was weakness, but it was just me listening. And I heard everything." This story is a powerful reminder that true strength isn't always loud. Sometimes the most patient and observant people are the ones who deliver the most profound justice. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe for more true stories of karma.